Housing Development Progress. Number one and the best. Housing Development Progress. Number one. Number one. Housing Development Progress. Number one and the best. Housing Development Progress. Number one. Housing Development Progress. In Nigeria. Housing Development Progress. In Africa. Housing Development Program and the globe. Number one, Housing Development Program.
Welcome to Housing Development, another fully packed edition of housing content. As always, I am Fleur Ani, your housing diva. On the program today, we have reports on various happenings in the housing sector, plus a visit to Durumi 3 Apple District in the Federal Capital Territory to get first-hand information of the living condition over there. What are stakeholders saying about how the government can intervene in affordable housing delivery in the country? Let's get started with the latest headline news in housing sector. Stay tuned.
President, Mortgage Banking Association of Nigeria, MBAN, and Managing Director, City Code Mortgage Bank Limited, Makyuroki Ebilate, says there's a need for initiative measures to improve housing finance, reform the Land Use Act, and upward review in the National Housing Fund contribution of 2.5% basic salaries. Ebilate noted that the strength of a mortgage finance system in any country is not limited only to the volume of transactions generated or the size of the balance sheets of financial institutions within that system. Rather, the overall strength of the mortgage finance system is primarily determined by its resilience to withstand internal and external systemic shocks and its ability to consistently provide access to long-term finance at an average tenure of 20 years. He urged the federal government to continue to act proactively in taking measures that will see more product-based mortgages that will ensure housing finance is no longer done through short-term facility and commercial loan, particularly with the influence and experience of the current housing minister. In an estimation of the top 10 out of 85 countries ranking on homelessness, Nigeria has emerged the highest with 26.70%. Nigeria ranked first among the top 10 countries with about 24 million, followed by Pakistan with 20 million, Egypt 12 million, Syria about 6.5 million, and DR Congo about 5.3 million people. Nigeria is said to have the world's greatest number of homeless people. Within the nation, 24 million people don't have homes. Data from World Population Review has reported. Experts in the Nigerian built industry decried the drop in percentage of home ownership rate in Nigeria from 25% to 20% in 2023. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has revealed plans to introduce an initiative aimed at revolutionizing inclusivity and affordability in Nigeria through the introduction of cross-subsidies in housing projects. This is disclosed in a statement. Ahmed Musa Dangiwa promises to redefine housing accessibility by integrating a mix of low, medium, and high-end housing projects, ensuring inclusivity for Nigerians of all income brackets. The minister explained that cross-subsidies were important policy tools used by government and urban planners to address housing affordability issues and promote inclusive urban development. Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, has flagged up the construction of 17 kilometers road, feeder roads, and other infrastructure, which according to him marked the beginning of the construction of the new Enugu city, in keeping with his campaign promise to make the state the premier destination for investment, business, living, and tourism. Governor Mba, during the ceremony, said the first phase of the project which covers 26 square kilometers, would be delivered in 24 months, in line with the administration's determination to restore Enugu's lost glory and reposition it as one of the top 3 states in Nigeria. The new Enugu city sits on 10,000 hectares of land off Enugu-Abakaliki Road and traverses Enugu East, Enugu North, Enugu South, and Nkanu West local government areas.
To read the full details of the news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. As the economy continues to bite harder, research shows that over 30% of Nigerians, translating to nearly 62 million people, are now facing serious housing challenges, while 80% of the country's 206 million people live in informal housing, plagued by problems related to poor quality and inadequate infrastructure. A visit to Durumi 3 in Apo district of the Federal Capital Territory showed inhabitants complain bitterly of their living condition, poor sewage system, improper housing arrangement, lack of basic amenities. The list goes on. Let's take a look.
The city of Abuja, to a lot of people, is a place where the streets are paved with gold, flowing with milk and honey, and gives its dwellers great opportunities to make lots of money, through which they can send back home to their loved ones, showing how well they've been blessed coming to live in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. But for Mercy Ezichi, who hails from Abia State, after much thoughts, she decided to relocate to the FCT in search of a better life with her family 9 years ago. Her story today is far from her dreams and expectations. Mercy and her family found themselves in the Durumi 3 Apo district of Abuja, where she now sells vegetable and other foodstuffs to support her husband to take care of the family. Not being able to continue with her skills as a hairdresser for lack of funds, or even pursue her dream of becoming a nurse. After having some conversation with Mercy, she decided to take us to her home, where she, her husband, and their children live. On arrival at their one-room apartment, we discovered that the room was not well ventilated, as the only window available could not open.
Mama, now okay. Open your window and I'm not going to get light.
The window is not okay. If I open it, it will fall down.
What happened to it?
The iron has it off. So we need to weld it now.
So you sleep here without opening this window every day?
On the fan.
You on the fan? So when
There
there's
is
no
light.
lights, you sleep like that?
Yes. Or I open the door.
She gives us a tour of her home and tells us her story.
Here is my kitchen. Here is the toilet.
Even with the sorry state of this environment where Mercy currently stays, she still does not want to lose her home, but pleads with the FCT minister to allow them stay in their houses or make an alternative provisions for them.
I don't have any objection, but let him know that we, the poor masses, God creates us like them. So they're supposed to know what to do so that we cannot be sharing tears. I'm not going to fight him, but he's supposed to do something so that we will eat, have a place to stay, and have a place ourselves to be feeding, instead of us to be crying here and there. You know, because when people are crying by so doing, people will air out bad words in any way they like, in any how they like. And I will not like to be one among them that will share such tears and be airing out bad words to him.
For Mercy and many others like her in the FCT, despite their predicaments, all hope is not lost. The future still holds a lot for them, and they are willing to fight to ensure that one day things get better.
To have better things to do so that I will not lack and I will not ask anybody to give me. Because I know this is not what God has decided for me to be doing. Mostly being under the sun and rain. I would like to be in my own house. In my own house that I build, I would like to have it.
Mercy will continue to sell her wares to support her husband and family, hoping and praying that one day her story will change and her dreams becomes a reality.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global, and keep watching the Housing Development Program.
That is a resident of Durumi 3 in Abuja street of the FCT. Our next visit is Wumba district, still in the Federal Capital Territory.
In recent years, Nigeria's economy has experienced a downturn that has had far-reaching consequences for many. While we grapple with the fuel subsidy removal and its multiplier effects on the economy, one issue that remains largely hidden, yet immensely profound, is the escalating rate of homelessness that is fast becoming a cancer. Housing TV reporters visited the Wumba district of Abuja to speak with members of the community who bear their minds on the situation they have found themselves.
Nigeria don't bad now well. To house rent now, land of the pursue people now, not be small. Now, one cup of gari is 16 naira, before na 20 naira. Seafood now na wahala. Children agree goes better school. Now we don't come out children for private school, go government school. Because of hardship we there now. The government really bad well. So far is there.
I'm stranded to get where to live, and I don't have money to secure an apartment. It's one of my friends that is squatting me now. Now in that place they sold the house. So now we are looking for money to secure another apartment.
Mama Prosper, as she is fondly called in her neighborhood, is a mother of 4 who could be seen displaying her frustrations, having been subjected to a lifestyle she never envisaged.
Come here tomorrow, even though I talk finish. May I leave me alone? May the government come help me.
The economic downturn has created a vicious circle with job losses and soaring cost of living, pushing more and more people into homelessness. Many have lost their livelihoods as companies downsize or close down altogether. The dwindling economy has also led to a significant rise in poverty levels, making it increasingly difficult for low-income individuals to afford decent housing.
I don't like the house, but they're ready to pursue me for the house now because I did not have money. 2 months now, I don't get work to go. To eat is problems now.
As I'm a family man, we are 7. We are living at one room, so I'm not okay. I'm assuming that this our country is okay. I'm not supposed to live one room. I appeal the government to help us, to help the poor masses, so that instead of them to diminish some places, because when they do it like that, people, other place where they will go, they will not see the place where they will live. No money, nothing.
The impact on children and vulnerable populations is particularly heart-wrenching. Young kids who should be enjoying their childhood are instead forced to navigate the harsh realities of life on the streets. The lack of education and healthcare services further aggravates their plight.
May the government see our people where they work now. My organ and security be our house now. I don't even see who I was when they pay the landlord. Me and my children will live one room because na 2 room with the rent. Now one room will come back ourselves because the money don't increase. May government help us. See the poor people who will not get work now. May them open small business or small work for us. Where we go feed the money that come up because we see money train our children. Business now not get hurt.
These residents are appealing to governments at all levels, organizations, and well-meaning Nigerians to come to their aid and address these issues with empathy and urgency.
What I cry we say, I want make government, may the government just calm down, or may just make our Nigeria better, make we get small places where we go use the stay.
With the saddening plight that has bewildered these residents, it is only imperative for all concerned to provide shelters and access to healthcare as well as educational opportunities to those in need, promoting policies that stimulate economic growth and create jobs, thereby tackling these monsters called homelessness to its roots. These will in turn foster a more secured environment for all in the future.
Hello, my name is Casey Rust. I'm the Executive Director of the Centre for Affordable Housing Finance in Africa. We're based in Johannesburg, South Africa. Please keep watching Housing Development Programme. It's a great show.
In the face of rapid urbanization, government appear unable to plan for the increase of low-income urban population. This includes failure to provide or facilitate the provision of very low-cost housing for the millions of low-income households, especially in urban areas. Although mass housing for low-income households is being built, it is almost always too expensive for the poorest. Everyone deserves to live in a decent environment.
We don't have road. And you see, at times, if it is raining, you will see a lot of people will go by the roadside. They'll be thrown dirt on the main road. We also doesn't have toilet. You will see a toilet, you will still up to 30 tenants. They are using one. You can't leave your door open, go and buy something. Before you will know, Babambola will enter. By the time you will take them to police station, 1 hour is too much. The police people will release them. In fact, we don't know what is happening.
This is the situation with many citizens in not just Nigeria. Are we ready for this conversation? What is the plight of an average Nigerian citizen in regards to housing? Housing is a fundamental human right, and these issues must be addressed.
It's good news. Are you a stakeholder in the built environment, or you are looking for an authentic, credible source for housing and construction news in Africa? You now have an opportunity. Africa International Housing Show has now created a unique opportunity for you by establishing a full-fledged housing television, the first of its kind in Africa. You can now access information on home ownership, rental, building materials, finance, real estate, and insurance, among others. All on Housing TV Africa, channel 149 on StarTime.
Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. Affordable housing is a major challenge for many Nigerians. The high cost of housing in the country has made it difficult for many people to own their own homes. How can affordable housing be achieved in the country? Let's hear from these professionals on Voices on the Street.
Well, to make most of those property affordable, government has to have a rethink. Number one, see how they can do price control on material. Also, tax waiver on material, building material. If they do tax waiver on building material, the houses will be affordable, and they also do price control, because a lot of people they sell their material, not even some wants to make excessive gains. So if there's a government price control, that will also stabilize the cost of material in the market. And if you take a tax off material like VAT, it will also bring the cost of material down.
The only way the government can help the masses is through the subsidy. The subsidy, maybe they subsidize the price through materials. If the government can help us and do the same thing on the housing, it will help so many people. Even the rural Kara will have a house.
The government will need to do what they are doing now for health insurance policy. There must be a conscious effort for housing policy to be implemented, and workers and citizens must be encouraged to put the normal 2.5% of their salaries into the national coffers, so that there will be enough patient funds that can be used, and then we can start mortgage. If there is good mortgage and there is good system of assessing funds, the price will come down.
The only way to make affordable housing for all is, number one, is to minimize the cost of materials, which is number one. We talk about cement, talk about the rod, and other materials that is used for construction. So, what government need to do, for like we have high class people, we have middle class and low class people. Okay, so the challenge is not at the aspect of the high class people. Where the main thing lies is between middle class and low class. So if we want to move forward and to carry everybody along, what we need to do is for us to come to that point where we make materials affordable for the low class and the middle class.
If we go back to our local productions, I think we should be able to get affordable houses for the masses.
The government should be able to coordinate from the beginning and intentionally bring out laws that actually help the real estate developers. Little incentives like granting them land, help making sure that the CFOs are given to them quickly, access to financing, even being backers for credits when they want credit. So little things that can help the real estate.
It's high time we go back to our local content. When I mean local content, I mean 100% local content. What is eco-friendly? More eco-friendly products. What happened to them when we are building mud houses, right? Now mud houses look like it's old school. No, it's sustainable, right? Eco-friendly, environmental friendly, even cost benefits. It's even easier to maintain.
I'm Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States, and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
Voices on the street there. The present economic situation has made it difficult for affordable housing to be achieved. So many housing projects have been abandoned halfway due to hike in the cost of major building materials. In this report coming up, the stakeholders call on government to do everything possible to salvage the economy for affordable housing to be achieved. Take a listen.
The present economic situation in the country has made it very difficult for developers to continue on their mandate of providing houses for those who can afford them. They say the cost of building materials have skyrocketed to the point where they can no longer continue with their projects for lack of resources. The real estate professionals said the cost of major materials used for building construction like cement, iron rods, tiles, sand and other accessories have doubled or even tripled in prices.
Inflation is affecting everybody. It's even affecting what I'm taking now. Because if you look at the cost, so many years ago, decades ago, single naira was valuing more than $1. But now, the percentage of inflation has gone to almost 1,000%, and that is not good for everybody, for anybody. So to that extent, if we want to continue to live, we must have a way of reincubating the inflation in such a way that we will be able to get on with our lives without creating more problems.
The inflation is affecting us seriously. Like a bag of cement now is down in Enugu where I'm buying 5,004. My off-takers are civil servants because I'm building for doctors and pharmacists of University of Nigeria and Soka. You know, I'm still contemplating on how to increase my price. Because if you increase, their salary is static. Their salary is just there. I don't know. It's affecting us badly.
Was that once you don't have anywhere to put your head, you cannot think of any other thing. So no matter the level of inflation, once you don't have a house, you cannot take care of any other thing. Housing somehow does not
it doesn't matter to people whether there's inflation or no inflation. Everybody wants to have a shelter.
They attributed the cause of the hike in prices of building materials to the removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government and the unstable exchange rate of the dollar to the naira, which has hit above 1,000 naira to a dollar in the open market. These and other factors have had negative multiplier effects on the economy, making it very difficult for real estate developers to continue with their projects. They called on the federal government to do all necessary to salvage the economy, as they are afraid of building houses that cannot be affordable to those who need them.
My name is Architect Ahmed Dangiwa, the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development. I hereby endorse the Housing Development Program.
It's good news. Are you a stakeholder in the built environment, or you are looking for an authentic, credible source for housing and construction news in Africa? You now have an opportunity. Africa International Housing Show has now created a unique opportunity for you by establishing a full-fledged housing television, the first of its kind in Africa. You can now access information on home ownership, rental, building materials, finance, real estate, and insurance, among others, all on Housing TV Africa, channel 149 on StarTime.
One of the most effective ways to achieve affordable housing in Nigeria is through government intervention. The government can provide subsidies or tax breaks to developers who build affordable housing units. The government can also implement policies that encourage the development of affordable housing, such as reducing the cost of land and providing infrastructure like roads, water, and electricity. Providing this basic infrastructure is fundamental to creating affordable housing. This is because it makes for cost reduction on the developer while serving as a great motivator for home seekers. Many times, investors look out for these basic amenities before choosing a destination for their investment, and so having it in its place will greatly enhance home ownership for Nigerians. On that note, I call it a wrap on today's episode of Housing Development. Thanks for watching. I remain your housing diva, Fleur Ani.